Smiley. We are live inside the United Center here in Chicago. It is day 4 of the Democratic National Convention, and tonight is the big night. We are all waiting to see how Kamala Harris will come. I don't really see this as a competition. She's the nominee, so it is her night. It is her convention. But she has a lot of heat on her tonight when you consider what the Obamas did, namely Michelle Obama on what was that, Tuesday night, and then last night Oprah shows up, Bill Clinton shows up, and there've been a lot of other great speakers as well in this week, during this week, I should say. But again, everybody's waiting on this history-making event that will take place this evening when Kamala Harris will have her turn at the podium to lay out her vision for this country and what we can expect from a Harris-Walz administration. We will also hear tonight from, before we hear from her, of course, we will hear from Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan. Yesterday on this program, we had the sister chair of the Democratic Party in Michigan. There are only 7 black women. In case you missed yesterday's show, there are 7 black women who are the heads of their parties in their respective states. Only 7, but we were honored last night to have, yesterday on this program, the head of the Michigan Democratic Party and her governor, Gretchen Whitmer, will speak tonight. That's the same Gretchen Whitmer, as you'll recall, some time ago, that was being targeted for an abduction. I suspect she may get into some of that tonight, or just remind the nation of what happened to her and the drama and the shenanigans that we often see coming from the right. So we'll hear from Gretchen Whitmer tonight. We'll hear from Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts. Senator Warren also speaks this evening. Roy Cooper, the governor of North Carolina, will speak this evening. So they got a serious rundown tonight, and then of course Kamala Harris will have her turn tonight, and we will see what she has to say. Let me just take a moment here while I've got it. We are ushering in the next set of guests into our program for the next 2 hours. We got a long line of them headed this way. Wes Moore, the governor of Maryland, Mark Morial, head of the Urban League. Just a long list of guests coming up for you over the next couple of hours. But this gives me an opportunity to once again share with you and to thank all these stations across the country who are carrying us this week. I am honored, of course, to be syndicated, based out of LA, and my home station, KBLA Talk 1580. But there's so many stations that I want to just run their call letters right quick and say thank you for carrying our program this week. Some 25 or more stations. And I am told once we started on Monday, other stations called and asked if they could carry this program across the country. So you have no idea how humbled I am that stations literally from California to the Carolinas have signed on this week, in addition to my regular affiliates, to carry this program. Everybody wants to be connected to the DNC and this history-making moment, but there are other programs they could have chosen to carry. But I am delighted and humbled once again that they chose to carry this program. So let me just thank right quick before I move forward with our next set of conversants in this hall today. Let me thank KZZC in Arkansas, KJUK in Texas, KTHN in Texas, KAZI in Texas, Austin specifically, KBWC in Texas, WLCD in Tennessee, WVAI in Virginia, KDIV in Arkansas, KOYO in California, WANM in Tallahassee, WASU in Georgia, number of stations in Louisiana, KAYT, who else to have here in front of me, KQJO, WHPR in Michigan, WUFO in Buffalo, WIGO in Atlanta, WDAO in Dayton. That's just a taste of some of the stations that I have in front of me right now who are carrying this program in this week. And I thank you for giving us the opportunity to be heard on your stations. Okay, so I'm in the hall here. When we come forward, we've got another roster of great guests for the rest of this hour, some more in our third hour. I have some thoughts of course, later in the program, before we wrap, offer you a bit of a commentary as to what I've seen and heard and what I've made of this opportunity to be here in Chicago this particular week. But I hope you've enjoyed these conversations as, again, we prepare for Kamala Harris to offer her vision of this country this evening. Again, in case you weren't tuned in earlier, there's a bit of a tussle going on here in Chicago right now. You may have seen some news about a sit-in. So the pro-Palestinian movement has been rather progressive and aggressive. I don't mean violently aggressive, but they've been aggressive in being wanting to be heard, demanding to be heard. And this convention, I think, may look back on this moment and rethink what it meant that they would not allow a single pro-Palestinian voice to get to this podium, even as they are trying to win in a swing state like Michigan, where this Arab American community is pretty extensive. You recall that Joe Biden barely won the state of Michigan over Donald Trump by 3 or 4 points. Hillary Clinton lost Michigan to Donald Trump. They're going to need Michigan to pull this out, and there's a significant and sizable, again, Arab American community in Michigan that might make the difference in that particular state. And so we shall see how this all works out. But I don't believe before the close of this convention you're going to hear any pro-Palestinian voice at the podium, and that's a big issue in the streets of Chicago. Even as we speak, these protests continue, these arrests continue, these clashes with police continue. I don't know, again, I'm inside the bubble, so I'm not sure exactly what you all are seeing outside the bubble. But this is exactly what's happening inside here, and there's some consternation about that. That said, I'm Tavis Smiley. We're live inside the United Center here in Chicago. More of our coverage of the DNC on its final day, day 4, when we come forward.
Interrogating and unpacking. That's what we do around here. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
Tips to help improve basic steps for building a budget in 2024. Building a budget can help you achieve and reach your financial goals. With a budget, you can keep track of your spending, avoid and get out of debt, limit overspending, pay bills on time, and build solid savings habits. What's the best way to get started? Figure out how much to set aside for expenses, like rent, mortgage, bills, groceries, and entertainment. Understanding your past financial habits can help you make the proper adjustments for your budget. Adjusting to a budget can take time as you work to find the right balance, but keep working on it. For more financial health tips, visit chase.com or stop by a local branch. This segment is sponsored by J.P. Morgan Chase & Company.
Eggs are a staple in our diets, and there's only one egg with more delicious farm-fresh taste plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best. With more vitamins, including 6 times more vitamin D and 10 times more vitamin E, plus 25% less saturated fat than ordinary eggs. Available in so many delicious varieties. Classic, cage-free, and organic. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Ooh, I'm so ready for this weekend away with my girls.
Hey, hit the road? How about some free gas?
Free gas? How?
Try new Febreze car for some serious freshness and you can win gas for a full year. Visit Febreze.com to learn more.
Say less.
You may not win, but you're gonna have a fresh smelling whip.
Thanks, DJ Fresh. Now how about some music?
Hey, yo, this next one goes out to new Febreze car for giving you a chance to win free gas.
La 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 la.
No purchase necessary. Must be 18 to enter N73124 for rules and how to enter. Visit Febreze.com.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show. Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
Tavis, Smiley. We are live inside the United Center here in Chicago, and I want to go quickly to a conversation with Chris Brown, who's president of Brady. You all know it was formerly called the Brady Campaign. It is now just called Brady, but everybody who knows politics knows that James Brady was the press secretary for then President Ronald Reagan, and when the assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan took place, John Hinckley, James Brady was shot. I remember just exactly where I was when this went down. James Brady was shot and survived that. And out of that, with James Brady and his wife Sarah, both of them now deceased, came the Brady campaign. And all these years later, Brady is still doing the work of trying to get America to advance some real sensible laws on the issue of gun violence in this country. The president these days of Brady is Chris Brown, who I'm pleased to have on this program for a few moments. Chris, how are you today?
I'm well. Thanks so much for having me.
No, it's good to have you on. Just say a word for me right quick. I know we only have a few minutes. I want to get to Manu Raju of CNN, is seated right next to me. We'll talk to him in just a second here. I just want to spend a few minutes talking to you about this issue of gun violence in America. It is unabated, and certainly just weeks ago, the assassination attempt against Donald Trump put this issue front and center once again. It is fascinating to me to consider that the forces that created this Brady campaign, now again called Brady, were Republicans. James Brady working for Ronald Reagan. Fast forward all these years later, another Republican, Donald Trump, survives, as did Reagan, an assassination attempt. And yet the political right, as I see it at least, I don't mean to make you political, but the political right still does not want to take seriously these issues of this issue of gun violence in the country. What say you about that frame?
Yeah, well, you're right. Certainly Donald Trump doesn't, but let's follow the money, right?
Sure.
Let's recall
Sure.
in 2016, the National Rifle Association, which does not represent the average gun owner, it's an extremist organization, funded Donald Trump's campaign more than any other advocacy organization by many, many, many times. We're still following the money there, Tavis. A lot of it goes to Russia and to other sources, and that's been well reported on. At the end of the day, though, let's not forget, we got a bipartisan Safer Communities Act bill passed 2 years ago. 16 Republicans in the United States Senate voted yes on that legislation. And obviously, as the head of Brady, we're very proud of what Jim and Sarah did in passing the Brady law. But that bipartisan Safer Communities Act is the most consequential piece of legislation to pass to attack gun violence in this country since the Brady law. So we see this as a huge opportunity up and down the ballot, not just with Harris or Walz, but with candidates running across this country. Too many are on one side of the ledger, but increasingly we're seeing Republicans see that this is a voting issue for all Americans, gun owners, non-gun owners, red and blue states.
Yep. Tell me how you are processing Tim Walz specifically. You mentioned him a moment ago. We know that he has been a gun enthusiast. We know that he also is in favor of background checks, but he has not shied away from having been a gun owner in his own lifetime. How does that aid and abet or distract, you tell me, from the conversation that Brady wants us to have about gun violence in this country?
Look, just as you noted, Tavis, Jim and Sarah were gun owners even after Jim was shot. They stayed gun owners. This is not an issue. And Tim Walz said it so well last night. He's a hunter. He believes in the Second Amendment. Nobody who believes those things has to also say, well, that means I can't stand for public safety, or I don't want my kid to get shot in school. And I think someone like him can be transformative because he both elementally represents someone who's very comfortable around guns, who cares about the right of gun ownership, but who also does not believe that that means that he can't strongly, loudly, proudly support all of the kinds of policies that Brady has been pushing for some time.
Yep. My extra question here, Chris, and I thank you for your time, more importantly for your work and your witness as the president of Brady, particularly at a moment like this, again, after the assassination attempt against Donald Trump, which he survived, thankfully. Nobody wants to wish anyone evil, even if you don't agree with them politically, and I certainly do not agree with him politically, no way at all, but wouldn't want that to happen to anybody, to be gunned down anywhere in this country, even if he is Donald Trump. That said, what's your sense of what it's going to take in this country for us to get truly serious about advancing meaningful gun legislation?
We have it right before us, Tavis. We have candidates running for the United States Senate and the U.S. House of Representatives and obviously the presidency. If we can get a gun violence prevention majority elected, not just in the White House, but in the House and the Senate, we can pass these bills. We can pass expanded Brady background checks. We can pass an assault weapons ban. We can provide funding for things like extreme risk laws. These are policies that have been pending for some time. We just haven't had the right composition of GVP champions, but we can this November. So all of us need to be very focused on that.
Chris Brown is the president of Brady. I thank you for your work and witness, as I said earlier, and for this conversation. Chris, all the best to you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
Good to have you on this program. We continue live from the United Center. Day 4, the final day of the Democratic National Convention. I am pleased to have a colleague now. By colleague, I mean a colleague in this business. Manu Raju, we all know from CNN. I don't want to use the word aggressive, but he is a determined reporter. He gets the story. We all know this brother from CNN. I'm honored to have him on this program. Van and I were on the plane in here on Sunday, leaving L.A. We were supposed to leave at 7 a.m. Mechanical issues. We didn't get out till 4 in the afternoon.
Ooh.
So I was with Van all day Sunday, and I'm pleased to be with you right now, Manu. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. It's great to be back in my hometown.
Yeah, are you from Chicago?
I grew up in the Chicago suburbs.
I didn't know that. You're from Chicago. Yeah. So what do you make of this convention so far?
Look, it is a much different convention than would have been a month ago.
Yeah.
If Joe Biden were in this race. Could
Sure.
you imagine what that would have looked like? This would have been a very, very distraught audience, very divided about Biden's future. But this is very energetic. You're seeing a Democratic Party that believes that they can win. It's very clear that the coalition that Joe Biden had a difficult time putting together, Kamala Harris has successfully put back together. And the added impact of adding some star power to all of this, we'll see what kind of impact they may have among getting the people out to vote. Really, of course, the key question is, now that she does appear to have the base, does she have the independents? Does she have those swing voters? Does she be convinced them, particularly in those battleground states? That's going to be the big question going forward.
Have you seen, covering this convention, have you seen any evidence that you can point to that would suggest that they have figured out the answer to the question of whether or not they are too liberal as a ticket?
That's a great question, because I do think that is an issue, because you look at the New York Times Siena polls from over the weekend, and tested in those key battleground states. On some of those, it said that voters in those states did believe, on a majority basis, several of those states, that she was too liberal. And that is going to be a question. Now, I have not seen them really address that, because this has been more of a convention about values and about how they view an overall broad vision of America, and trying to draw a sharp contrast with Donald Trump about their value proposition, not necessarily getting into the nitty-gritty of policy. And I don't expect Kamala Harris tonight to lay out her 20-point plan detailing things that she would do on immigration or the economy or prescription drugs. Even Tim Walz last night said, this is what we're going to do. He said, we're going to take on the drug companies, we're going to cut your taxes. That's very general, very broad strokes. So what exactly does that mean? The devils obviously are in the details, and we have not seen the details yet. So the question is that, are voters going to say, okay, maybe some who may be skeptical about her politics, more moderate voters, right-leaning voters, or say, okay, I'm willing to look past that because they believe that they align with her values. And I think that's the calculation that Democrats are making.
I'm fascinated to see beyond tonight, as we get back to reality, get outside this bubble tomorrow, how this is going to play. But I've noted, and you cover this stuff every day as I do, so I know you've noted it as well. The word choice a few weeks ago was weird. That's the word to describe the other side, weird. And the word inside this hall this week, joy.
Yeah.
Everybody's using the word joy. Cornel West is in the building, independent candidate. He came by earlier at the start of our program. He and I talked about that, I guess, an hour and a half or so ago now. But this notion of joy, it reminds me of the word hope. Remember the Obama poster with hope on it?
Yeah.
So tell me whether or not joy will journey. Put another way, will joy work?
I think it's an interesting discussion, because I think that what they're trying to convey is that they believe that people are tired of the division and the bitterness and the anger and the fact that, candidates put us versus them and trying to portray, Donald Trump is that person who is dividing the country. Instead, try to say this is a very upbeat campaign, that people should be excited about this. So, it's interesting. Maybe some voters may think it's a little hokey. That's the one thing, what is, joy. But maybe some people, they hope, can look past the bitterness and ugliness of politics and have a positive vision. So it all goes to the effort to try to energize folks going forward.
Yeah. What's your sense of whether or not Donald Trump can rebound? Any number of words I could choose to use, can rebound. He was, I said earlier on this program, like a good boxer, he was on his toes against Joe Biden. He did not see this coming. No. For that matter, neither did the rest of us. But Donald Trump surely did not see it coming. This is not the campaign strategy they were attempting to run. So he got caught off guard, and he has been flat-footed ever since. What's your sense of whether or not beyond this convention, again, when we leave this bubble, reality sets in, we got these debates coming up. What's your sense of whether or not this race tightens, which is another way of asking whether or not, again, he can find his footing again?
Yeah, what's remarkable is that for the first time in really Donald Trump's political career, he's not been the one driving the narrative, right? I mean, he's been on the other side of the narrative trying to respond to things. He's been
which is driving him crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not the story.
He's not the story.
Yeah.
It's been that way for a month. And that's a real challenge for him, because he's responding to Harris and trying to drive her into discussion, whether it's about race or about this or that. She is not really engaging on some of those issues that Trump is hoping to draw her into. Now, does that change going forward? That's going to be a big question. Now, I do think that once we get past, she probably will get a bounce out of this, as history suggests.
I'm sure, yeah.
She will. But then the race will undoubtedly tighten. We get to post-Labor Day. We'll get a sense of where likely voters really come down and how much this will change post at that moment. And, we have two debates. We have the vice presidential debate. We have the presidential debate. Maybe there'll be another debate as well. That will undoubtedly change the dynamics as well. And how does Harris do when she actually has an interview and sits down and talks? Because she has not had an interview yet. Does she get tripped up? Does she not? Does she clear the low bar that the Trump campaign is setting for her? And if she does clear that bar, will that give her a boost? So there's so many questions still. So this has been a good month, good week for her, but this is presidential politics. Things could change on a dime.
And Manu, what do you expect when they go, pardon the pun, mano a mano, although that doesn't really work because he's a brother and she's a sister. I just want to say that, though. It was corny, but I got it out. All right, what do you expect when they do get face-to-face September the 10th, I believe, in this first debate?
Yeah, it's going to be probably a little ugly.
Yeah.
Look, she knows how to debate, so she's an experienced debater. Trump is a very difficult person to debate. He throws a lot at you. Sometimes he throws a lot at you, and many of the things that he says are just simply not true. And it's hard for a candidate to respond and figure out what to say or not to get drawn into a back and forth with him and instead try to shape the narrative your way. An effective debater, oftentimes ignores what the punch they're throwing at you and maybe it deflects it and then punches back and puts the other person on the defensive. Can Harris do that? That is a big question. And how will she deal with when she gets really pressed on some of the details of what she will do as president if she were elected? Those are going to be some of the key questions, but I think it will be obviously a much different debate than what we saw between Biden and Trump.
And finally here, you and I could spend hours talking about this one question. I only got about 90 seconds, so we don't have the hours that I wish we had. But what's your sense of how we in this hall and beyond, the media, how are we doing covering this drama?
But we're doing great. No. Look, I mean, I think that voters really need to understand what the candidates plan to do if they were elected, and candidates often don't provide that information. Not just we're talking about Harris, but Trump too. I mean, Trump says that he's going to bring inflation down. Well, what does that mean? I'm going to end the war in Ukraine. Well, what does that mean? The war in Gaza wouldn't have happened if I were president. Well, what does that mean? So both of them have questions that they need to answer, and our job is to try to get those people on the record hold them accountable. But if they don't want to answer the questions, that they makes things harder. But I think does not serve voters well. So that's the job that we can always improve.
Let me squeeze in 21 seconds right quick because you host Inside Politics on CNN Worldwide. What's your sense of how the world is watching this?
I think the world is so interested, so fascinated, so concerned about what may happen, and they are tuned in to everything that's going on in American politics, because what happens here will drive what happens around the world.
His name is Manu Raghu, anchor and chief congressional correspondent, Inside Politics Sunday with Manu Raju, CNN Worldwide. That's why I wanted to ask that question, how he senses the world is focusing on this. I suspect they are. Manu, you're doing great work, man. Good to have you on this program.
Thanks, Tavis.
Thank you for your time. More of Tavis Smiley from the DNC in Chicago. It's the last day, day 4. We're inside United Center. More when we come forward.
For all the freedom-loving folk, this is Tavis Smiley.
I feel like freedom.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm Mike Moore. Now, here's the latest from the Black Information Network. In Massachusetts, MIT says its incoming freshman class is less diverse because of last year's Supreme Court decision to reject affirmative action. The school said about 16% of the class of 2028 are Black, Hispanic, Native American, and Pacific Islander. About a third of Americans see COVID-19 as a large or moderate health risk. That's according to a new Axios Ipsos American Health Index survey, which showed that 32% of Americans felt COVID was a risk to their health. Human beings age faster at 2 points in their lives, according to scientists. A new study showed that humans have 2 faster bursts of aging at a molecular level at the ages of 44 and again at 60. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Lowe's knows Labor Day calls for big savings. Right now, get 3 bags of premium 2 cubic foot color mulch for just $10. Because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 9/4 while supplies last. Mulch offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers swept Seattle in their 3-game series to push their winning streak to 4. The Dodgers are 10-3 in their last 13 games. The recent surge has elevated the Dodgers to the best record in the major leagues at 76-52. The Dodgers are off today. They start a 3-game series Friday at home against Tampa Bay. The Angels lost to Kansas City. They were shut out for the 8th time this season. Coco Gauff, the number 2 female tennis player in the world, is the new athlete featured on the Wheaties cereal box. It's the first Wheaties cover for the 20-year-old Gauff. The limited edition of Golf on the Wheaties box is available today in most major grocery store outlets. Golf will defend her U.S. Open title beginning Monday. Jackson State University Athletic Director Ashley Robinson was selected to the NCAA Men's Basketball Rules Committee. Robinson's duties begin September 1st. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. At Blindster, we offer custom-made faux wood and real wood blinds and shutters, cellular shades, Roman shades, bamboo shades, exterior shades, and more, all at factory direct prices. Don't pay too much for new blinds. Go to Blindster.com.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Ray Richardson, your sports connection here at KBLA Talk 1580. Join me and my co-host Neil Scarborough every Saturday night at 7 for Out of Bounds, the show that brings some flavor to the world of sports for 60 minutes. We take you beyond the scores and press conferences. We give you our point of view, the way black folks see what's going down. You can join the conversation and give us your analysis at 1-800-920-1580. Out of Bounds every Saturday night at 7 on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
You like your style, though. Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent. So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle.
Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Free and Gentle. This back-to-school season, Tide and Downy are giving back with $1.5 million in scholarships. Enter to win. No purchase necessary. US/DC 17+. End September 30th. Rules. Tide.com/scholarship/official rules.
Freedom is an endless meeting. So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
I am still inside the United Center. I ain't going nowhere. And I'm having a good time talking to all of my friends and colleagues. When I say friend and colleague, I only have him for less than 10 minutes. I mean, let me not give a long introduction. He really doesn't need one, but he's my friend and my brother over many years. Former United States Senator from Alabama, Doug Jones. But more to the point, he's the author of the book Bending Toward Justice, the Birmingham church bombing that changed the course of civil rights. We all know the story of the 4 little girls killed in that Birmingham church, 16th Street Baptist Church, and for years, nobody was held accountable for that until my friend Doug Jones, as U.S. Attorney, showed up before he became a U.S. Senator and brought those persons to justice. Doug Jones, I will forever love you, my friend, for being the man in that moment. How are you?
I'm great. I appreciate you mentioning that case. It was the case of a lifetime.
It was indeed.
You know, but you know, they and I said after the first conviction that they say justice delayed is justice denied, but in those cases, it was justice. It doesn't. It was still justice in Birmingham, and it was really remarkable to work on. I appreciate you mentioning it.
What tell me why you pursued those cases after all those years?
There's a lot of reasons I think, but the main thing is it was morally the right thing to do. I told the staff that when I first got there that, because the other cases had been reopened. If you remember the Medgar Evers murder case, and he got convicted, the Vernon Damer case had been had a conviction, and they started to look at this, and I said, look, we've got to do this because Tavis, the people in that community didn't think that J. Edgar Hoover properly investigated that case, and that these people had gotten away with it. They actually did, but you can't always bring those cases. And I said, this is the last opportunity to do it. If we don't do it, it'll never get done, and these people deserve it. It was the right thing to do. It is never too late to do that right thing, to seek that truth, to seek that justice.
What are your takeaways from pursuing justice decades after these murders, doing it successfully? What have you learned? What can you share with this audience about the pursuit of justice in America?
It is always a work in progress.
Yeah.
There are highs and there are lows. It is always a work in progress. And sometimes the goalposts move back and forth, and sometimes they move left to right. And you've always got to kind of keep your eyes on the prize. You've got to make sure that at the end of the day, your moral compass is set. And you know what justice, people know what justice is. They know what the right thing to do is. And you kind of get through the fog of the politics and do the things that I think people deep down are yearning for, and deep down they know is the right thing. But that's where I see where we are today at this convention. we've got a ticket that is their guiding light. That is their guiding principle, that they're going to seek justice for everybody, not just these persons or that person, but they're going to seek justice across the board, and that's what you want in America.
How scared are you as a former U.S. attorney, as a former United States senator, historic election you won there in Alabama? How scared are you of what Donald Trump would do this time around to politicize the Justice Department?
I'm very scared. In fact, I just have been going through that in some detail. They talk about weaponizing the Justice Department. That's exactly what he wants to do. Get rid of the career people, and that's been the hallmark of it for the Justice Department. Those career folks who day in and day out do the right thing, regardless of the politics, regardless of the political persuasion. They follow the facts, they follow the law. They don't always get it right. You know, the human beings that do this, they don't always get it right, but they follow that. And what is planned right now is a systematic breakdown of that institution, and it is going to be dangerous for America if Project 2025 gets implemented. And make no mistake, I don't give a damn what he says, Tavis. He wrote the book. It was his people that wrote it. He's adopted it, and he is giving you the playbook for if he gets elected, and we cannot let that happen.
Alabama is a very, 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 very red state. But what are you seeing inside of Alabama these days? Because given the red state that it is, again, you pulled off as a Democrat a historic victory for the United States Senate. I remember I was staying up late that night to just watch how my friend Doug Jones was going to do in Alabama. And when Doug Jones won that race, I ran around the house speaking in tongues, thanking God for Jesus. I could believe it because I know Doug Jones, but it was such a major moment when a Democrat won a Senate seat in Alabama. What's happening inside the state of Alabama right now?
We're having a lot of enthusiasm. People are coming out there. It is once again getting excited in Alabama. And, we've got, the big congressional redistricting case that the Supreme Court decided about a year and a half ago that saved the Civil Rights Act was an Alabama case. So we've got a new congressional district, redrawn lines that we believe that we can send another Democrat to Congress. Our second out of 7. We got a great candidate in Shamari Figures. Y'all listen up for his name. He's going to speak tonight. Shamari Figures. You can go to him. You can help him out. He is a great, great candidate. I think we can win that race, and that is going to once again boost Alabama. It's a slow process to turn things around in a state like Alabama and in the South. But we're making it. We're making strides because, at the end of the day, it's just like Tim Walz said. We all love each other. We believe in each other, and it doesn't matter who you are. If you need help, we're going to give it to you. And that's the way things are. That's the heritage of the South.
Yep. As you know, LBJ famously said years ago when he signed into law the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act, this, Senator Jones, he made it clear then he knew he was writing off the South for Democrats for a long time to come. Do you see that at some point turning? I
think it has been turning. Look what happened in Georgia. Okay, we got 2 Democratic United States senators. Stacey Abrams came so close to being the governor. You've got Andy Beshear in Kentucky. You've got a number of things, and I'm going to tell you something, Tavis. A lot of people don't know this, but the black population in 5 states. South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana, those 5 states, the black population is growing faster than the Hispanic population. And they're the only 5 states. So there's incredible opportunities here that we're going to take advantage of. It's just going to take some time and patience.
Finally, here's a quick word about your book. I mentioned it. I want to mention it once again. It's called Bending Toward Justice, the Birmingham Church Bombing That Changed the Course of Civil Rights. Say a word about that.
It's, look, it was a love to do. It was tedious. But it's a historical thing that I think people would enjoy. You'll learn a lot about what happened in Birmingham and the church bombing and our cases and how we put it together. That I think it will fascinate folks.
His name is Doug Jones. They're grabbing him to run to do another interview. Senator, you're my friend, and I'm always honored to see you, sir.
Thank you, Tavis. It's been great.
Thank you so much. Watch that chair and you stand up. It flips on you. I don't want you to.
I got it.
I ain't got no insurance. I don't want to hurt Alabama's former senator and U.S. Attorney Doug Jones. He's quite an amazing guy, as I tried to suggest in the introduction. I've known him for many, many years, and when he, as U.S. Attorney, decided to take on this case, he mentioned Meg Evers. I mean, I've known Merle Evers for many, many years, and she's a dear friend of mine as well. And all those years that Merle fought to bring the murderers of her husband to justice, Medgar, in Jackson, Mississippi, I just celebrated with her when that case finally went forward. But You heard, again, Doug Jones say that justice delayed doesn't have to be justice denied. And when Doug Jones became U.S. Attorney and decided to take on this case all these decades later of these 4 little girls who were killed in that Birmingham church. Birmingham was so out of control then, they called it Bombingham. But Doug Jones was unafraid to take on that case, and he brought those killers to justice of those 4 little girls in the 16th Street Baptist Church. Dr. King, for those who know history, I wrote the book about this, of course, Death of a King. Dr. King gave the eulogy for those 4 little girls. And many people think that the speech that King gave at the March on Washington, I Have a Dream, is his greatest speech. It's a good one. But if you really know King's body of work, if you know his corpus, I Have a Dream, frankly, for me, is not his greatest speech. It's the one he's most known for. But, oh, Lord, he had so many speeches over the course of all the years he was crisscrossing this country. But if you've never seen or read or heard his eulogy for the 4 little girls in Birmingham, that's something you should look up. You should just Google today. History is being made in this hall tonight with Kamala Harris and her campaign moving forward from Chicago in this race for the White House. And so history is being made today. So you might as well just take a moment to read a little history. And if you've never, ever read Dr. King's eulogy for these 4 little girls at the 16th Street Baptist Church, I encourage you to take a minute today just to read that eulogy. Just get to the last part. I mean, the whole eulogy is amazing, but that last 4 or 5 paragraphs, it will move you. All right, we continue when we come forward here from the United Center. It's day 4, the final day of the Democratic Convention in Chicago. You're listening, and I'm glad about it, to Tavis Smiley.
From Lamert Park with love, this is Tavis Smiley.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up.
Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Tavis is like George and Wheezy. He's moving on up. Last year, Tavis was number 45 on the Talkers Magazine list of the 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America. Wait for it. Wait for it. The 2024 list was recently released, and Tavis has jumped to number 33 on the list of the nation's most important talkers, making him the highest-ranked African-American on the coveted roster. Congratulations to Tavis Smiley from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580. We've got you black.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
You are indeed, and I have a very special guest here now. All of my guests are special, but she's extra special. She's extra special for a lot of reasons, not the least of which is because she is now 97 years young. She's 97 years young. This is her first Democratic convention. And let me say a brief word to you about her, and then we'll let her share in her own words. She's Mother Opal Lee. Mother Opal Lee is the grandmother of Juneteenth, a retired teacher and activist. She was campaigning for over 40 years to get Juneteenth as a federal holiday. Joe Biden finally honored her wishes her fight, her activism, and made, of course, Juneteenth a federal holiday. But she's now 97, will be 98 soon in October. But she is here in Chicago. Again, her first Democratic convention. I'm honored to welcome Mother Opal Lee to this program. Mother Lee, how are you today?
In good shape.
You're in good shape. Oh, you better than that. You're better than good shape. Tell me, just lean in a little closer if you can to that microphone. Let me let's do this. Hold on a second. Let me do this. I want to make this easy for you. Hold that. There you go. Just put it a little close to your mouth and we can hear you better. There you go. Just trying to make some adjustments here to make it easy for her to talk. Tell me about your fight to get Juneteenth a federal holiday.
Well, I've been doing Juneteenth a long time, and to be able, after walking 2.5 miles everywhere I possibly could and getting 1,500,000 signatures to take to Congress, President Joe Biden signed it into law. I could have done a holy dance, but the kids say when I try, I'm twerking, whatever that is.
The kids say when you're doing the holy dance, they think you twerking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that might a little closer. They think she's twerking. She's the holy. She said, I can't do that. But tell me about that moment. What it meant for you after all of those walks, all those miles, all those 1 million+ signatures. How did you feel when Joe Biden signed that law?
I was awed. I was so thankful to God that it had actually happened. And then I decided there's still a lot of things that need to be done. There's so much homelessness and joblessness and health care that some of us can get and others can't. And climate change that we're all responsible for. So there's still plenty of work for us to do.
What is it at the age of 97? You're right about the work that needs to be done, but maybe that's work we need to be doing. Maybe we need to step our game up in these succeeding generations. But what keeps you moving every day? Why are you still fighting so hard?
Well, I want the young people to be aware that the good, the bad, the ugly, we've still got to be able to pass on to other generations what we've learned, and they don't need to make the mistakes we made, nor go through the trials that we did. And so I'll keep on walking and talking.
Yeah, this walk for freedom is quite amazing that Mother Opal Lee has engaged for more years than I can count. Let me just ask you this question. What was it? Well, let me do this. I'm watching my clock here. Let me tell you where I want to ask you, where I want to go, and we'll go there when we come forward in a second. So just sit tight 1 second. I want to ask her what it was specifically about Juneteenth, of all the things that she could have walked all those miles for, of all the causes she could have held dear, of all the issues that she could have raised, what it was specifically about Juneteenth that got her so animated all these years ago to keep fighting, to keep pushing, to keep walking, to keep collecting signatures until somebody, that somebody was Joseph R. Biden, signed Juneteenth into federal law. I wonder what it was about the issue of Juneteenth that made her so committed. We'll talk about that with 97-year-old Mother Opal Lee at her first Democratic convention. We're in Chicago. This is Tavis Smiley.
Helping to stretch your moral and political imagination. This is Tavis Smiley.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Watch out! You got me!
The galaxy is safe once again.
In the pretend universe, kids play with pretend guns. In the real world, it's up to us to make sure they don't get their hands on a real gun. If you have a gun in the house, keep it locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
And the top-rated African-American talk show host in the nation, according to Talkers Magazine. You're tapped in with Tavis Smiley right now.
You are indeed, and I'm glad about it. Tavis Smiley, mother Opal Lee, she's the grandmother of Juneteenth, retired teacher and activist. She's the one who campaigned for year after year after year, over 40-plus years. She fought, she lives in Fort Worth, Texas, fought for over 40 years, collecting signatures, walking miles. Anybody would pay attention to her message. She just kept on pressing, kept on pushing until Joe Biden finally listened to her and signed Juneteenth into law as a federal holiday. You were telling me about your grandma club.
Oh, you wait till I tell my grandmother's club that I have met Tavis Smiley. Oh.
You were.
I can't wait to tell them about it.
You are too much. You are too much. It is my honor to have met you. And I can only imagine the energy in that. It must be a lot of energy in your grandmother club if they like you.
They've raised children of their own, and they have done so many things in the neighborhood. We even have Opal's Farm, and we're raising food that we share with the WIC program and the food bank. And then we've got the fellow who does the farming. Oh, he's to die for. I tell you, and he shares it, have I said, with the WIC program? And okay, and then he goes to market. And I tell you, the produce he raises is off the chain.
Yeah, he says off the chain. The produce he raises is off the chain. I love Mother Opal Lee. I love her. They are not only are they raising food and sharing food with others who don't have it, on top of all the work she did to make Juneteenth a holiday. It's an amazing, amazing story of resilience and fortitude. That word joy, we talked about it a few times on this program, I think can be misused at times, but this is a joyful moment to be in conversation with her. Why, of all the things that all the issues that you could have rallied around, why was it so important to you to make Juneteenth a federal holiday?
You see, so many people aren't aware that Juneteenth means freedom.
Freedom.
Freedom for everybody, not just Texans, not just black people, but freedom for everybody. And so I'm going to keep on walking and talking until somebody learns that.
Well, we're learning it. We are learning it courtesy of your work and your witness. It is such a great honor. Have you enjoyed your time here in Chicago?
Oh, listen.
Your first Democratic convention at age 97?
Yeah, I tell you, I could do a holy dance,
Yeah.
but the kids say when I try, I'm twerking.
You're twerking, yeah. No, we don't want the kids saying that. There's a distinct difference between a holy dance and twerking, and I understand that, and so does everybody else. Mother Opal Lee, it's an honor to have had you on this program. Let me just say thank you on behalf of everyone. I'm speaking for all black folk right now. Let me just say thank you for your fight to get them to recognize that Juneteenth is about freedom, and had it not been for you, Joe Biden would not have gotten the message to make Juneteenth a federal holiday. And for that, we say thank you and we love you.
Well, thank you.
And you tell all your sisters in your grandma circle that Tavis said hello.
I'll do it.
All
and
right.
They're going to be delighted.
Oh, I love it. I love it. What a great day. What a great day here in Chicago inside the United States. That's Mother Opal Lee, the grandmother of Juneteenth. Again, retired teacher and activist, but as you can tell, at 97, still going strong. Her 98th birthday just around the corner in October. This is what happens when you hang out in Chicago at the Democratic National Convention. You're listening to Tavis Smiley. Mother.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm Mike Moore. Now, here's the latest from the Black Information Network. In Massachusetts, MIT says its incoming freshman class is less diverse because of last year's Supreme Court decision to reject affirmative action. The school said about 16% of the class of 2028 are Black, Hispanic, Native American, and Pacific Islander. About a third of Americans see COVID-19 as a large or moderate health risk. That's according to a new Axios Ipsos American Health Index survey, which showed that 32% of Americans felt COVID was a risk to their health. Human beings age faster at 2 points in their lives, according to scientists. A new study showed that humans have 2 faster bursts of aging at a molecular level at the ages of 44 and again at 60. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Lowe's knows Labor Day calls for big savings. Right now, get 3 bags of premium 2 cubic foot color mulch for just $10. Because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 9/4 while supplies last. Mulch offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers swept Seattle in their 3-game series to push their winning streak to 4. The Dodgers are 10-3 in their last 13 games. The recent surge has elevated the Dodgers to the best record in the major leagues at 76-52. The Dodgers are off today. They start a 3-game series Friday at home against Tampa Bay. The Angels lost to Kansas City. They were shut out for the 8th time this season. Coco Gauff, the number 2 female tennis player in the world, is the new athlete featured on the Wheaties cereal box. It's the first Wheaties cover for the 20-year-old Gauff. The limited edition of Gauff on the Wheaties box is available today in most major grocery store outlets. Gauff will defend her U.S. Open title beginning Monday. Jackson State University Athletic Director Ashley Robinson